Hello everyone, welcome to 4.5. Use the slope-intercept form of an equation of a line. The two objectives here would be identify the slope and y-intercept from an equation of a line and graph a line using its slope and intercept. So we start with this special form. Okay, a quick recap. We did see ax plus by equals c to be the standard form. We want an x and a y on the left side and a constant on the other side. Not necessarily the left, on one side, I mean. But here we're looking at slope-intercept form. So if you actually did some algebraic movement to this, if you rearrange the terms, let's say in the standard form, I subtracted ax on both sides. Then I'm left with by equals negative ax plus c. Then I do one more step, I divide out the b. Every term gets divided by b. You can see that the standard form is rearranged to y equals negative a over bx plus c over b. A, b, c are all constants, so you can imagine that reduced to another constant, right? And this is the form that the slope-intercept form is talking about, okay? It doesn't look as complex as that because everything is cleaned up for us in a formula. That's why we love formulas, okay? Anyways, slope-intercept form, as the name says, you have the slope, which is the m. The intercept is always your y-intercept in this form, which is your b, letter b. Again, these are case sensitive. So this is lowercase. So the A, B, C you saw in the standard form are all capital letters. These are all small letters, and we stick to those. So m is your slope and b is your y-intercept, not your x-intercept, not any intercept. It's just the y. All right, so if you had this, what's really nice about this is quite obviously you are staring at your slope, right? Your m is your slope. So if you'd simply rearranged, or if you got an equation already like this, you are looking at the slope, as simple as that. Not just the slope, but you are looking at the y-intercept as well. That's why we really, really like this format. Okay, form means slope-intercept form. Form means format or formula. So we really love this format. Excuse me. Identify the slope and y-intercept of the line with equation y equals negative 3x plus 5. So let's write that out. Y equals negative 3x plus 5. Okay, now see if it resembles your y equals mx plus b form. Yes, exactly. Your m is a number, so it could be positive, negative, a fraction, a decimal, it could be anything, it's a number, right? B is y-intercept. Y-intercept means the point where the line crosses the y-axis. That is also a number, a point is a number. Actually, you can see that your m maps to the negative 3. Remember, it's just a number, right? Don't confuse the x with it. Slope is not negative 3x. There's no x in the slope. Slope is simply a number, so it's just negative 3. And your b, you want the positive 5. If it was a negative 5 there, you will take your b as negative 5. So they match, and simply you state your answers as slope is negative 3, y-intercept is b, which is 5, but you want to write it as a coordinate, right? So it's a y-intercept, which means your x is always 0. 0, 5 is your y-intercept. That's it. No calculations, no computations, no formula even to remember, but we do have to know the slope-intercept form to match them correctly. That's it. You found the slope. In fact, you can already see a lot of things. Now the slope is negative, so in your mind you can imagine the line to, to fall from left to right. So your line is going to look like this because you have a negative slope. And you also know where it's going to cross the y-axis. So if I were to put the, let's say, I'll just simply draw something like this. Again, this is a sketch. I don't know if it's right. But what I'm trying to do is I superimposed this line onto the graph, the grid, because I had information on the y-intercept. I know it's going to cross the y-axis at 5. So see, we can already imagine how the line will be, right? And where it's crossing. So just by looking at the slope-intercept form, we can come up with all these amazing details for the line without doing any computation. Okay, now we need to use that helpful information in graphing. So we're going to graph here a line using its slope and y-intercept. Okay, we have 6 steps, but when I go through it in the graphing part, you'll be able to understand it easily. Okay. All right. Here is our problem. Graph the line of the equation y equals 4x minus 2. Okay. The first step is to see if y equals 4x minus 2 matches with your y equals mx plus b, right? See what corresponds and obtain those details. So your slope corresponds to 4, right? Meaning your m is 4. And your y-intercept corresponds to negative 2. Remember to take the negative sign with it. So your b is negative 2, but as a coordinate, it's 0, negative 2. We like to have the coordinate because we're going to graph it. Okay. Now, what we are asked to do is use these 2 details, the m and the b, to get the graph. Okay. Now, recall that we did the graphing by simply using the table method. We gave our own x's, plugged them in, and got our corresponding y's. You can totally do that. That's absolutely fine. It's a traditional way to graph any given equation. But with lines, because they are special, and slope is a unique feature of a line, it's a defining characteristic of a line. We like to use a shortcut method to get the graphs done for lines. This is true only for lines, not for any other shape. Okay, what I'm going to do now. All right, you have a coordinate already available, right? Your y-intercept is 0, negative 2. That is the first thing you are going to plot. 0, negative 2 is right there. Okay, 0, negative 2. You know it is going to be an increasing line because your slope is positive. So you know your graph is going to rise from left to right. Just to have that in the back. Well, I need to use the slope. I use the y-intercept. I need to use the slope. Okay, a quick recall at what the formula actually means. The slope formula is rise over run. Okay, so it's a fraction, but I don't see a fraction here because 4 is a whole number. So you can make it look like a fraction by dropping a 1 underneath it, right? Now you have rise as 4 and your run as 1, right? Okay, rise means you're going to climb up. Run means you're going to run across. Okay. All right. So from where do you climb? Well, we already have a point. We need 2 points to draw a line. We already have one of the points. So I'm going to walk up 4 units. So you're going to see me write the numbers for the steps. So 1 box, 2 boxes, 3, 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I get to the 2 in the y-axis. And then the 1 in the denominator for the run, I have to run across to the right. So that's only 1 box to the right, and that's my other point. Okay, I'm going to remove the 4, the 3, all these things, because they are in the way for us. And that's it. In fact, you can write the coordinate for it because you got the point. That's going to be 1, 2. We expected it to be a line that rises from left to right, and you can see that already lining up nicely from left to right. Connect the dots, just like that. With no table, no calculation, you got your line. This is y equals 4x minus 2. Okay. An important clue here is your rise over run, both were positive, so you didn't have any, we just moved up and right. But I want you to understand that if you had a negative slope, it works slightly differently. Rise over run, okay. If you have a positive number, plus for the positive, okay, you will move up, okay. And If you had a negative number for the rise, you will move down. Okay. And likewise, if you had a positive for the run, you move right. If you had a negative number in the bottom, then you're going to move left. Okay. So just to kind of run this idea with you, let me say your m was -1/2. Okay, so you have a -1 as your rise, which is on the top, and 2, which is your run, which is in the bottom. So negative on the top means you have to go down, right? So if 0, -2 again was your starting point, then you would go down 1 unit, okay, down 1 unit, and to the right 2 units, right? Because 2 was positive. Down and right, you would have landed here, right? Okay, let me remove that because I don't want to confuse that with an answer here. So I will just write here, oops, I have to write down and right, okay? Now say your m was 3/-4, okay? What would you do? It's positive on the top, so you have to go up. It's negative in the bottom, so you're going to go left. So in that case, you would go from your y-intercept, like in this case, we come back to 0, -2. 3 would go up, so 1, 2, 3, I would go up at 1 on the y-axis, and I have to move left 4 units, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and we would land there for our slope, for our other point, and you will connect those 2 dots. Right? So just to give you that idea. With that, we've come to the end of this section. See you in the next video.